A new survey suggests that between 2014 and 15, violence against Jewish people in England, Wales and Northern Ireland rose by 50%. That's according to the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism.
The group is calling for a senior police officer in each force to oversee the fight against anti-Jewish crime.
Let's discuss this with Rabbi Benjamin Rickman. He's from King David High School in Manchester. He's the head of religious education. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
My pleasure.
Does this report surprise you, this statistic?
Not really. It's one of those sad realities of being Jewish, living in this country. Even as a child growing up in London and my experiences in Manchester, both as an adult and as a father and as a teacher, there are times when you get yelled at, you get abused. I haven't experienced physical abuse, but definitely verbal attacks, driving past me, walking on the Sabbath, going to school. Students of mine report being harassed at traffic lights, and it's one of those realities.
And is that getting worse?
I think it is. It's very tragic that outside our synagogues we need to have security happening on a Sabbath, that in London, outside kosher supermarkets, they're posted security guards. Now, that's not normal. That's not a reality that the average person living and working in this country is used to, and that's what we have to experience. And there are volunteers from the community that accompany the police on the Sabbath or on festival times, and it makes living complicated when you're surrounded by security. You shouldn't have to go into a house of worship and have to walk past security. You shouldn't have to see them outside our school. There's 4 security guards. There's a gate all around. There are patrols. That's not a normal way to live.
Why do you think it's on the rise?
I think it happens 2 reasons. Number one, when things kick off in Israel, when there are wars in Israel, then things get much worse. When the events in Paris, when the bombing of the supermarket and the attacks and the Charlie Hebdo, during that period, things got much worse then, possibly out of concern that they were going to get worse. So the security was increased just to make sure nothing did happen. But we entered school every day. There was a guard dog that was added, and that's you've got little kids in a primary school entering school past a ferocious-looking dog and extra security teams. So I think when things kick off in the Middle East, that makes things worse. But I think it does come down to ignorance. When I have brought students from different faith backgrounds together, especially within the Abrahamic faith community, all of a sudden, the bigotry and the prejudice and the ignorance dissipates when you start explaining to people that the way I live my life as a Jew is not too different from the way that other people live, family, charity, worship, belief in God. So there's a lot of ignorance that comes into it. So not only events outside our country, but within inside. And
could part of the reason that these statistics are going up, that it's easier to report? I'm thinking from personal experience. I live in an area which has a large Jewish community, and the police are very visible in giving people the opportunity to report incidents.
We are encouraged. There's the Community Security Trust charity that they do actively encourage us to report things. But if they're not reported, then it'll be even more dangerous to walk around the streets. I think there is a part of that we are reporting, and it's part of the culture now. When I was accompanying a group of students and we were harassed, yes, my natural instinct was, let's report it so that it gets logged. But that doesn't necessarily mean that things are acted upon. When I reported an event to the police, yes, they came round and they gave the impression that they were taking it seriously, but nothing was followed up, despite the fact that there were cameras along the streets and they could have followed the cars, got the number plate. So it's not as simple as go and report it and it's followed up, but that reporting is becoming part of the culture that we're educating and being educated towards.
Thank you very much indeed for coming to talk to us. We appreciate it. Rabbi Benjamin Rickman.